Just click the button and have it go.
It did. We're live.
I know. Are you ready to go? Walt, you ready?
I'm ready.
Joe?
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the LinuxInstall.net podcast. This is episode 123. Because Linux is just that easy to install. It's recorded August 19th, 2014. My name is Joe Leuzzi. With me, as always, is the founder of LinuxInstall.net, Brian Wagner, and our trusty cohort, Walt Jevack.
I made it to cohort.
What would you like us to call you?
Level up.
Level up.
Ding!
Joe has leveled Walt up.
Joe needs food badly.
Hey, my wife got that for the Xbox. We were playing that. It was funny.
Gauntlet?
Yeah. There's like a Midway pack, which has a bunch of the old Midway games.
Oh, yeah. I had it back on the 360. They're actually coming out with a new one.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Yep.
Yeah. I have a 360. That's what I have it on.
Oh, okay. I didn't. Oh, that's right. I don't know what I was thinking.
And
I don't know.
My wife and I ended up losing an entire evening to Gauntlet, and then I went and played some of the other games, and I'm like, why did I think these were good? Ever. Why ever were they good? Gauntlet, I kind of see, but what was it playing? Defender was. I think Defender was on there.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
And then
we're going down a gaming rabbit hole. We probably should just stop right now. Because you guys could have been on my podcast last night, but I was by myself.
It's the way you like to be on that podcast.
That's I'm mighty fine doing it by myself, buddy. Solo is okay. Solo is YOLO. All right.
I'm just gonna leave that alone. What?
My week.
What
my week.
What are you gonna do this week, Joe?
I've been work. But one of the things I was doing at work, and this is extremely funny. I made one of the girls I work with pretty much bust out into tears. I was building a couple servers, installing some software. I have not touched the software in probably about 6 months because the project's kind of been on hold, and I've been working on several other projects that we have going on. And at the time I had originally worked on this, I spent a lot of time getting the software prepared a silent install file that would just basically install the software automatically through scripts and everything like that. It worked perfectly. Completely forgot I had done all that stuff. So when I went to build the servers this past week, I'm going to launch the installer, and I'm wondering why the installer is not launching for me. Well, it's using the silent install, so nothing's going to come up on the damn screen. I was sitting there cussing up a storm. I'm Control-Cing out of it, and then I'm looking on the OS, and I'm like, oh, that's right. I did the silent install for this 6 months ago, trying to prepare for this. And I guess I was just being too efficient.
Nice documentation.
Well, I had it documented, but it just wasn't clicking. What was, I was just expecting something. I was thinking of a different piece of software as I was installing this. That was my problem. I was thinking of a different piece of software, and I'm like, why is the installer not coming up? Why is this? And it was working the whole time. I just Control-C'd out of it for no reason. So I only did it once, and then I was just like, I just let it run, and then that's right. I'm sitting there, and I'm like, that's right. I start reading through the documentation, and I was like, oh, that's right. I did the silent install. That's the reason why I'm not seeing anything.
At least you didn't pull the what idiot did this.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
But it was something I literally had not touched in probably 6 months since I had done all of that, since I had looked at any of it.
And, it's kind of funny. That's one of the downsides to really good automation is that you forget how to do stuff, or that you've done stuff. It's like, why does this not work the way I remember it working? Oh,
yeah,
that's
exactly.
Right, 'cause we automated it.
I had spent a lot of time automating it, got it working perfectly. It installs great, runs good, and everything. And I was just sitting there like, I was just expecting to see Firefox open up and go to like an IBM screen, and this isn't an IBM piece of software. And so that's what I was like waiting for Installation Manager and everything, and I'm like, I was just sitting there just all confused because I just been working on too many different things at one time. So that was my fun story of the work week. Had to share that one.
Yeah, that's classic, man. That is classic automation draft there.
But the servers are done, and the software is installed, and everything's ready to go. So I'm ahead of time because I got till the end of the week to do it, and I pretty much got it all done today.
Well, that's because you had it automated.
Yeah.
Much.
Yeah. Didn't plan on that, did you?
Don't tell them that. I'm working on this all damn week. Took me all week to install.
I'm going to work from home for the rest of the week just to make sure I get done.
So that was there. That was my sharing moment for the week.
Well, that's good. What about you, Walt? What have you been up to?
I have been fighting the world of technology. Basically,
that's a big fight.
Yeah, pretty much. I haven't done a lot of Linux stuff. We're in the last week before school starts, so they're making me work. And work is where I usually play, because normally I don't have to work.
But previous automation scripts that we were talking about.
Right. Yeah, it's like, my schedule's weird. Everybody else is on vacation, and I'm running around crazy, and then normal people come in and go back to work, and that's when I'm off. But the big thing I spent 3 or 4 days on is trying to build a HTPC for home out of stuff I had laying around. So I didn't have to spend money, and I ended up spending money.
Now, you posted this thing. Oh, I didn't put up the link. You posted this box that's on sale now or going on sale now.
It will be, yeah. The Cubox-I, the Pro version, which has got the quad-core CPU with 2 gig of RAM. Yeah, I mean, because I've been, I got the Roku for the in-laws, and I got the hacked Apple TVs and this and that, and I really just wanted one really nice high-end where I can run all the fancy skins with the wallpapers and animation and everything, some sort of machine. So I'm getting ready to sell some equipment, and one of the laptops I had installed one of those, the HD decoder cards. Shoot, I can't remember who makes it now, but all it does is decode video, so you can play high def video and stuff.
Like a hog or something?
No, it's the Crystal
Dynamics. That's a video game.
Hold on.
As we totally sidetrack Walt.
There you go, the Broadcom Crystal HD decoder. It's a little chip. So at any rate, I took it out of one of the laptops that I had it in because I'm going to sell the laptop. So I was like, well, I'll just hold on to it in case I want it for something. And then I read an article about a guy who was using it in his Mac Mini, and I thought, oh, well, that's cool. I could do that because I got an extra Mac Mini laying around, 2006 model, so it's only got the Intel 950 Atom. There's a dual core, not Core 2 Duo, dual core.
Yeah.
But I figured, with the decoder card, it should work pretty good. And it actually worked okay. But then I thought, well, if that worked pretty good, I got a 2010 Mac Mini that I could run XBMC on. So I installed that. It ran pretty good, but it still had an old hard drive in it. So I had a 64 gig SSD laying around. So I thought, man, I'll pop that thing in there, do a clean install of the OS, just have it boot right into XBMC, and everybody will be happy. And after I did 3 installs, all from the internet, and then you have to do like patches and whatnot, I found out that the controller on the Mini is not compatible with the controller on the SSD that I have. So it would just randomly lock up and freeze and buffer and craziness. So then I had an old Atom 330 computer that would actually take that same Crystal HD chip. So I thought, man, I'll get that working because I read a couple of posts where people did the same thing and it actually ran really good. Only for whatever reason, my motherboard doesn't really like that chip. Boots just fine when it's out, put the chip in, doesn't even post. Take it back out, works just fine. So for some days later, I researched what SSD actually works in the Mini, and I swear to God, Newegg must just pay attention to what I'm doing and then put stuff on sale that I need, because I figured, it's like $100 for this drive because it's one of the better ones, and I don't need to buy it. And for whatever reason, yesterday it was on sale for $60. So I'm like, well, that's fate telling me I should buy it.
Can't pass that up.
Yep. So it should be here in 2 days, and it'll be my weekend project is to rebuild that for hopefully the last time, to then have my nice HD PC sitting over here on my side.
I see. Well, hopefully by next week I'll have a TV right back there.
Did you get that mount you mentioned?
I did get the mount. I ordered it. For some reason, UPS has decided to send it the slowest way possible to my house, and it's going to truly take the 5 days to cross the country, which it never does any other time. But because I want it, it's taking flipping forever, and of course I don't have any time this weekend to do it because I got to do other stuff.
That's how it always works.
So by the time I get it, it'll be Thursday. Well, it's tomorrow. No, it's day after tomorrow. Yeah, day after tomorrow. It's supposed to be.
So is that going to mount the 40-inch TV that you guys got?
Yes, it is.
The TV that I wanted to purchase, and when I went to buy one on sale last week, I missed the sale probably by like a half hour, which is the reason why I just ordered a 3 terabyte hard drive, because I was like, screw it, I'm going to buy something this week.
Yo. I gotta buy something. I'm in now.
I'm in buy mode. Gotta buy.
I needed the drive space for all the podcast and video stuff I've been doing lately, so my 2 1 terabyte drives are just filling up.
Yeah, and I was thinking about starting to swap out those 2 terabytes that I have in my Drobo and start pulling in 3s to start upgrading the space.
Yep. 3s, just go 4s. Well, if you got rents in there, go up to 6.
Yeah, I don't want to pay for 6s. I have this dollar amount when they drive to a certain
You're
dollar
future-proofing.
amount.
You're future-proofing, Brian. Go for 6.
Dude, I'm not even using half the space I have now.
Oh, okay.
Ah, crap. Somebody just nominated me that stupid ALS thing. God damn it. Guess who gets to do the ALS bucket challenge now?
Tux?
Not Tux, buddy. One of your coworkers, Mr. Leuzzi, decided to challenge me tonight. All right. I was waiting for it. I was actually surprised nobody else beat him to it. I'm surprised my daughter didn't beat him to it, but she did it.
The only person I could think would be Anand.
Yep. Yes. So what else? Is that all you did? Well, I mean, that wasn't a lot. For somebody who didn't play with Linux, you spent a lot of time playing with stuff.
Yeah.
I did. I had a lot of stuff. And then
that was all hardware stuff.
Yeah, trying to register for Ohio Linux Fest 2014.
Yes, the registration is open, and if you can manage to get through the site and get yourself registered, cool. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's the worst website ever. They gotta just ask for some help to make it better, because I try to log in with my old account, it doesn't work. I try to request a password reset, I got no email. I created a new account, but you can't log into the new account until they email your new password, which of course I have no email for that password either. So I'm unable to register.
That sucks.
Seats are going fast. I know it is.
Because, you can't just walk up and pay $5. It's that bone-crushing $5 you're going to have to spend when you walk up at the door.
Right.
That I had to spend last year because I thought I was registered, but I wasn't.
That's funny. I remember that last year.
Yep.
The site looks better every year, but there's certain parts of it.
Yeah.
I agree with you. They need to ask for help. Because I submitted 2 talks. And I noticed today, after we kind of need to congratulate Greg Martin, because he is going to be speaking at Ohio Linux Fest.
Yay.
So Greg notified me and said, hey, dude, I got my thing, because there's he and I and Steve from Door to Door Geek all have talks submitted, and we were sending emails between or Google Plus chats or not chats, but like Google Plus comments back and forth, going, well, whenever somebody hears something, let the other ones know so that we know that they're actually finally through the process, because it's a volunteer thing. It can take who knows how long to get through them. So he got his. He was the first one of us to get his, and so he got his confirmation that he is talking, and so I'm waiting for mine. Well, I go back in and check mine, and at the bottom it says, "Please confirm that you're available for the dates that are listed." And it's in like a 6-point font at the very bottom of the page. Like I have to scroll down bottom of the page.
Along with the $5 bill from last year from Brian.
I was gonna give the $5 anyways. I really didn't care, but jeez, the site is just and it doesn't get better. That part doesn't get better. It looks a lot better than it did last year.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Somebody took some time to make it look better, but functionality-wise, it's still not awesome. So yeah, Ohio Linux folks, ask for some help from the community so they can help you make the site better, because it could be awesome. But don't not register or not come to Ohio Linux Fest, because Ohio Linux Fest was really cool. It rocks.
We had a good time last year.
And is that all, Walt? Besides fighting with the Ohio Linux Fest site?
Yeah, that's basically it.
So I've decided that drop-down terminals frickin' do rock.
Nice.
I didn't think I really needed them. Now I really like them when I remember that they're there. Which I'm starting to use more and more, so it'll be less of that. But when I have to switch back to Windows and then back to Linux, Windows doesn't have anything cool like that. These drop-down terminals in Windows would be really cool, especially if I could do a drop-down PowerShell. That'd be awesome. But no, I just have it in Linux, which is okay. It does limit you, though, to it is kind of limiting because you can only do one terminal at a time. And like Walt and I were talking about, I usually have 4 or 5 open at once doing different things.
Right.
Different things. For instance, I finally got all my stuff switched over. I got my script done, and I'm doing DNS mask for my DNS and DHCP on my home network. And so I had one window up with I was in like 2 or 3 different machines, and then restarted a bunch of them so that they would all go out and get new DHCP requests on the new server. And they did. And it was wonderful, and it was beautiful. But I had to have multiple windows open to do it. I still don't. I'm actually amazed at how long it's taking everything on my network to decide to switch over.
How long did what you could have done with your old DNS is just set the lease down to like 5 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, I was just going to say
before you turned it off. Yeah.
I just turned off I only turned off the DHCP. I should have set it. You're right, though. I should have set it down to like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, probably want to do an hour, but that's just because I have a lot. I don't know. I think we've talked about this before. I, for some reason, have a metric crap ton of devices on my freaking network now. Like, everything has a wireless connection to something for some unknown reason. Every game device that we have, every tablet, I get 3 phones in the house. I got 2 tablets. I got Xbox 360. I got the Wii U. I've got.
You have the 360 wireless?
Yeah.
Oh.
Me too.
Okay.
And I have the Chromecast. There's 2 of those. There's 2 Rokus. I have 2 internet-connected TVs. There's more stuff I can't remember. There's a lot.
I know the last device I added to my access point, I had to delete something. It's an older Linksys access point, and it has like 24 pieces spots where you put in the MAC address. I had 24 in there. Yeah. And I know half of those are devices probably not even in this house anymore. They're probably old work laptops, old phones.
I had to delete a whole bunch of stuff. Well, I didn't have to, but when I did the migration, I cleaned up a whole bunch of stuff. And
I never documented this stuff, so I don't know what's what. I just threw shit in there.
Yep.
You didn't like give them names so that you knew what it was?
No, not for MAC addresses.
Oh, that's right. You're not doing DNS. You're doing MAC addresses. My
Right.
Chromecasts are Chromecast Mobile. That's the one I pull out from the big 40-inch TV to take with me when I go on business trips. And the other one is Chromecast Treadmill, because that's the one next to the treadmill.
I noticed a lot of the newer firmware in the routers actually lets you put names and stuff now for when you do the Macs and the reserved DHCP lists.
I'm just impressed that Joe still has a router that's that old that still works, because for some reason mine don't last me that long.
It's just an access point. I've had this Linksys one for a while. I mean, it's an old WAP 54GL or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, mine's still running at the in-laws.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about the power here that just kills them. They just start getting flaky on me. They don't want to stay connected, or they don't connect.
I actually moved. I used to have it up here in the computer room, and then I moved it down behind the TV, so it's basically on the main floor of the house, and gives us a little better coverage down on that main floor, and it still reaches up here to the bedrooms and stuff.
That's cool. As long as it works, it's fine. Mine die.
I would like to get AC, but what do I really need it for? My phones do AC, but my internet's not going to go AC speeds, and I'm not transferring files off of my phone to that are that large. So
I don't think the Moto X does do AC. It does N, which is fast enough.
All the HTC ones in the house do. And everybody in the house has an HTC One. Yeah. The reason why I'd like to maybe get a different access point is mainly just for the coverage that either the N or the AC would give me over the G.
The next generation of the Asus one that Walt and I have has been really tempting me, just so I can move up to AC. But then I do the same equation you do, which is what's going to actually use it, and go.
Yeah.
Yep.
But hence the reason why I haven't pulled the trigger on that yet. But that new Asus, I've heard very good things about the newer Asus AC one. I've heard it's supposed to be, from a couple of different reviews, it's supposed to be really nice.
Yes, it is. So, what else was I going to say? What else did I do? I finally finished all that stuff. That's done. I actually had to hard reset my Chromebook this week.
What?
I know. I was listening to some music on Amazon's website because I'm a Prime member, so I can play with Prime Music. And there's this band called Kongos, Kongos, with a currently popular song called "Come With Me" now that I really dug. And I found it on there, and I could listen to the whole album. So I've been kind of jamming out to the album, which is something I haven't done in a really long time, is actually listen to a whole album. So it's kind of cool. But I was listening to the album, and all of a sudden it got stuck in a. It was just repeating the same 10 seconds of the song. Actually, it wasn't even that much. Probably 2 seconds of the song, and it was really freaking annoying. And I tried the power button. That wouldn't work. It was on the charger, so I'm like, well, this thing's gonna have battery for days, even though it is doing this. So I started scrambling on the internet and searching for hard reset because I couldn't find any place to hard reset it. And then I found out that I needed a wire much like this, which nobody can see there, just much like this, which I had to pull out because I don't have paper clips anymore. So I needed something to jam in the little hole, and I jammed it in the little hole, and it rebooted, and I'm like, okay, it's all good. Hasn't done it since, so...
So even holding down the power button for 5 seconds wouldn't power it off like a...
No, I don't know why that doesn't work on these, and that's kind of
interesting.
It's a kind of design flaw to me.
I don't think that's true across all Chromebooks, because I remember reading, even to put them in developer mode, some of them have a hardware switch, some of them you hold down some hotkeys on the keyboard. There is some independent design, so I don't know if that necessarily holds true across all machines.
And then Walt had to send me, and I almost went and bought it, Walt had to send me a link to a Chromebook, a really nice Chromebook, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it? Walt. A Chromebook deal it was a Woot deal for one of the HP ones with 4
Yeah,
gigs.
the HP 14-inch, $200.
It was like $200. I was like, oh, that's really tempting.
And it came with the lifetime 4G T-Mobile 200
Oh,
meg,
wow.
I think, or something.
If I got T-Mobile service in my
Again, you're right. Same thing here, but
that would be really useful. But
Yeah.
but it's only 200 meg. So I mean, what am I gonna do?
200
for
gig.
emergency,
No, it's not gig.
No, it's meg.
meg.
You can basically send out an email that says I'm out of bandwidth.
Free lifetime 200 megabyte. Sorry, 4G. So that means it's GSM. Oh, they're sold out. Ah, that's good. It saved me from buying one.
There you go. You can buy mine.
I can buy yours. Would you buy one?
Yeah, I've had that one for a while. Not that one, my other Chromebook.
Oh, your other one? You don't like your Chromebook anymore?
Dude, since I got that MacBook Air, I don't use it anymore.
We may have to talk after the show. Because my wife really likes this one. We had it on vacation. She played with it. She was like, "It's actually really nice."
Yeah, it's a super machine. I'm already spread across 5 devices. I'm trying really hard to use one.
One of the services, I think it was Google. Is it Google Music? I think it's Google Music now has something like 10 device per year limit that you can, or 10 device limit. You can only deactivate 4 devices a year. So you might want to watch yourself.
Yes, that's.
I think a lot of places had that. I mean, Microsoft used to have that with their Zune, and iTunes has that with their iPods, doesn't it? Back in the day, didn't they have something like that?
I don't know.
No, you can if you leave it activated, you can only have it on 5 machines. But if you deactivate it before moving it to the new one, you remove the license, then you add the license, and you can keep doing that unlimited. But like I've had enough already. Now I've gone through enough machines now where either I forgot to, or the drive crashed and I couldn't recover, so there was no physical way of doing it. To where I'm actually at my fifth use now. But they let you call. You can call them direct once a year and have them wipe everything, and then you get to start over. But it's the same thing. It's only once a year, or whatever the time frame is.
Yep. So just remember that when you're playing around with all your Google devices. I can't imagine that many people are really affected by that, but who knows? Yes, Walt, but we've already established that you have an addiction to devices that you actually proved out in your portion of the show tonight when you were talking about the fact that you had multiple Mac Minis laying around the house.
Yes.
Plus whatever else you were talking about.
And 18 minutes to my Cubox.
And 18 minutes to your Cubox.
It must be cheap. It must be cheap.
So you don't even know what this is going to cost?
Nope. I gotta see if it slides into the impulse buy range, or do I really need it range?
It is even even the normal price right now before this does anything. Oh, there's already a limit of 5 per customer.
Yeah, it's 130.
So if it's going to drop even more, I might be ordering one tonight too. Not that I need another computer at this point.
Dude, but that one's like, it's smaller than a tennis ball. You just throw it in your bag and take it with you.
That's true.
And it's kind of cool. The Cubox guys, they actually have a bunch of builds already ready to go for it. So it comes with an SD with an Android build already on it. But I think there's a Fedora, a Debian, XBMC. There's an OpenELEC build that they started about 6 months ago that's fairly stable.
Wow.
So it's a neat little machine.
You added the Arch post on there too?
Yeah, you can install Arch on it. Arch has got a distro for it. They've had one for a long time. So
this has got, the one that we're talking about is the one with a quad-core 1 gigahertz processor, 2 gigs of RAM. Yeah, I might have to buy one. Oh, I didn't notice the eSATA.
Yeah.
And
yeah, see, you sent me the, it's not very meh. I believe was the
it's still
term.
meh.
Still.
So does it come with a remote or just has the IR transceiver?
It just has the transceiver. That's the only crappy thing, because you got to get your own remote. But because I have about 3 or 4 of the universal programmable ones around here somewhere, there's no problem.
Oh, Walt, what
In fact, if you run OpenELEC on it, they have the Apple remote support baked in, if I remember right. So you can probably just use an old Apple remote if you got one of those laying around.
Wow. Okay, what is RTC with battery backup?
Real-time clock.
Oh, so it's real-time clock with a battery. Good.
Yes.
Got it. So, what else exciting is going on, guys? Linux-wise, there isn't a tremendous amount going on this week that I saw.
We were talking a little bit about that ZFS Guru.
Oh, that's right. That was the other thing we were going to talk about. Which looks cool. And unlike Joe, don't be fooled by the Start Welcome Wizard button on the front page, because it's not really a real button. It's a screenshot of what the page looks like.
I knew it wasn't when I drug the picture around.
Oh. So tell us a little bit about this, Walt, because this was your find.
Yeah, I was actually on DistroWatch. It was their feature story, I guess last week, this week's. And as we talked about in the other podcast, I run the NAS for free as my home NAS, and similar to Free NAS, which at the Ohio Linux Fest last year, we were all sat on that talk about. And the big advantage of the two is that they basically run the ZFS file system. So when I saw this ZFS Guru, I didn't really know what it was, but I thought, well, I'm running ZFS. I like to keep up on all that, so we'll see what it is. So the best I could tell, and from what I understand, is from the article on DistroWatch, it seems to be pretty stable. But these folks basically built a pretty cool web interface to control a BSD box to primarily configure as a NAS, but it also will allow you to run other applications. But unlike NAS for free or Free NAS, you can actually install it on a full version of BSD. So you can run GNOME or what other interface you'd like and use it as a regular computer on top of just a dedicated appliance, if you will. The latest version, I guess, it's still a beta, so they're on beta 10, but it looks pretty sharp. They got screen shots of all the interface, and it's comparable, I think, to most other NAS type software interfaces. There's a command line you can secure a shell in, and of course do a whole bunch of different things as well. But I might end up spinning it up in a VM when I get a little bit of time, just to kind of see what it does. One of the other things I thought was kind of interesting, though, is not only can you download an ISO live CD just to run it as a NAS, but you can install a full version that has GNOME and everything to use as a desktop. But you could also add their custom web interface to your existing install. And they give you some hints and tips on how to kind of help make that work.
Now, this does have to run on BSD because it's ZFS, right?
Right. At least for now. I would imagine because they allowed the interface, you can just get the interface separately. Somebody might be able to port it over to Linux that has ZFS running, but BSD is the forerunner, the most stable, the latest and greatest, whatever you care to argue. As far as ZFS goes, so that only makes sense. That's what they're running.
Well, do you understand why? Because there is a reason for that. ZFS is the closest to Solaris, which is where ZFS comes from. BSD is the closest to Solaris, which is where ZFS came from. I don't know if I said that right. So the BSD team had the easiest time porting it because they had less work to do to port it. And so it wasn't trivial, I'm sure. I mean, there was some work to be done, but there were features of the BSD style kernel that made it easier to implement. And I don't think that it was licensed free. Like, I don't think it was an open license for ZFS. So trying to replicate it on Linux took a little more work. They had to write some new drivers and stuff like that. So it just took longer. But that is why it's also BSD is always going to have the lead, probably always going to have the lead where that's concerned.
Right.
Plus, a lot of hardware vendors that use open software to do NASs use BSD instead of using Linux for that reason, because they want to use ZFS. Because ZFS rocks.
Oh yeah. One other neat thing too is the ZFS Guru project it seems to be more geared towards home user, where FreeNAS especially is they have a lot of enterprise level features, which is awesome for enterprise level, but maybe intimidating, or to be honest, a little bit of it's overkill. The system requirements just to get a simple share up for FreeNAS is pretty high. Which is why I still run the old NAS for free, because it doesn't need the hardware backend for it.
Yeah, because FreeNAS has like crazy, ridiculous memory requirements, right?
Yeah.
Does it need the CPU, or is it just memory?
It's more memory. You need like at least 8 gig to start, and they want more. Some of it's actually the CPU too, though, to take advantage of some of the enterprise features. But they don't give you an option to turn it off if you don't need any of that. Oh well. A couple of the things in more recent times they have, but for the most part they're just expecting. They don't expect the home user to run it. I don't think they're focusing on a company, big business kind of situation.
Right, which is interesting that they don't have a scaled down version. I guess that's cool though.
Yeah, well, that's why NAS for free still exists, so that's basically, the original fork of the project, and they still run on little things just fine.
Cool. All right, guys, that just about does it for us this week. Did you guys have anything else before we wrap it up?
Nope, I think that's it.
All right, so in conclusion, don't forget to follow us over on the Twitters. We are at Linux Install over on the Twitters. We have an awesome Google Plus community with more and more people joining all the time. I would love to see people post there. I don't have any restrictions on posting, so if you have some stories you want to post up there or stuff you'd like us to talk about, you can bring our attention to it up over there. You can also tweet it to us too. We'll find it there too, or I will. Walt won't. But then you can check out what else Walt's doing over at Jevack.com. You can check out what I'm doing over at DevOpsMastery.com. And Joe's got this little gaming thing he does at whatimPlayingNow.com. And we'll have show note links to all of our stuff in the show notes. And you can check us out there. And once again, congratulations, Greg, for actually being able to talk at Ohio Linux Fest. And what should everybody go do, Joe?
Go install some Linux. Have a good week, everybody.
Have fun, everyone.
See ya.